guys. Thanks for tuning in with us. I just want to ask that everyone takes a moment to send some love and light and energy to our guests for tonight, which are two of my personal favorite inspirations that are seeming to really be growing in the festival community by the minute. So I'd like to introduce Taco and Elise Olmsted of Appalachian Jamwich. And Taco and Elise, along with their amazing crew, have worked really hard to not only bring us an amazing print media that's Appalachian Jamwich, but they've also put together one of the most talked about festivals on the East Coast, the Mad Tea Party Jam, which is approaching its 4th year, and I'm beyond excited. So just welcome, guys. We're so glad to have you. Can you hear us again?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, thank you for having us tonight.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really excited to have a chance to interview you guys because just what you're doing is so inspiring, and we have such a similar mission that it's really important that everyone that wants to reach out and be a part of Project Roommate of Life also knows who you guys are, because you're giving them something to keep and put in their memory boxes and take a peek at in the future. And those hard copies are really important. So we just want to give you a thanks for that and open it up just so you can tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from, each of you.
Well, thank you, and thank everyone who supports us and who does keep the magazines and keep them as little keepsakes. That's definitely our intention when we put them in a hard copy. So I'm Elise Olmsted, and I'm from West Virginia. I grew up in West Virginia, and I grew up making little magazines of my own out of pieces of notebook paper and stapling them together, and always wanted to be a writer or an artist. And I met Taco when I was 19, and we married a few years later, and it'll be our 5th wedding anniversary this year. And a couple years ago, we just decided that we didn't want to be a part of the rat race anymore, and he, saw my dream to do something more creative, and we just decided to follow our dreams together. And he's always been very encouraging and nurturing to me.
And I'm Taco. I was born in Vermont, lived in the Philippines, traveled all across the country. Just to get this out of the way, because I know a lot of people don't know this, I got the nickname Taco on a 92 Grateful Dead tour, selling tacos out of the back of my pickup. I was the taco guy. By the end of the tour, everybody just called me Taco. And I've been living in West Virginia for, let's see here, since 1998. So 17 years. And I consider myself an adopted son of West Virginia. I really love this state. I love the culture. I love Appalachian culture. I love the scenery. I love the people. I love the creativity that you find in these mountains and hills and hollers. And that's one of the reasons why we call Appalachian Jamwich is because of our love of the Appalachian. Mm-hmm. I've said for years that I'm going to die in this mountain range. I've been out west. I love it out there. Don't get me wrong. These are big, beautiful mountains, but something about Appalachia always calls me back home. As far as the magazine goes and the festival, honestly, that's I'm a big supporter of people who are seeking out their dreams, and those people in today's world are oftentimes artists and musicians, and there are two careers that receive very little accolades and support in our country. If you compare the patronage of the arts in the United States to Europe, for every dollar that an American spends on art, $10 is spent in Europe on art. And it goes so far as all of the live shows and concerts and festivals in Europe. Those are all subsidized by the government. Those are all subsidized with tax money. As a musician, you just need to submit your work to the state, and they'll examine your work, and if they feel that it is actually truly creative and artistic, they actually give you a paycheck. You know, meanwhile, our artists and musicians, you know, as children, we're not really told that this is something you can do in your life. They say those are pretty drawings, and they say that's really neat music that you're listening to or playing. Now go get a real job. Go work at a bank. Go be a lawyer. Produce. And I'm not sure whether that's just because we have a young culture in this country or not, but, you know, being married to an artist and watching her go through becoming an insurance agent and how her soul was just sucked out of her, it was a tough thing to have to watch. So when we had discussed the idea of starting a magazine, I saw a great opportunity to not only support the arts and music, but also for Elise to kind of pursue something that she was deeply passionate about. So that's basically who we are in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
That's a small nutshell, really.
Well, hopefully we can open and crack that nutshell a little bit more, so you have a chance for other people to know. But it sounds like you've become quite a power couple in the scene, and I know that you guys usually come as a pair, and what you do is just very awesome. How many years has Appalachian Jamwich been growing?
This will be the third year this April. Only 3 years.
That's awesome.
We started, what was it, honey? April 2010.
Yeah, that would have been 4 years.
No, yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, did you start the magazine before you had the first Mad Tea Party Jam, or did it come after?
It was that same year, but the first Mad Tea Party Jam was only like 100 or 200 people, and it was more like a party. And it just snowballed into this unstoppable force that is now the Mad Tea Party Jam.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about that? How did the Tea Party get started? Can you tell us a little bit of the backstory to that?
It's a funny story, Taco.
I'll try this one on. I mean, other than the fact that when Elise and I were married, we had an Alice in Wonderland themed wedding. Right when we started to get into this whole music thing, I decided that I wanted to book the works for 2 shows, a 2-night run in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Needless to say, things went astray, and I couldn't have them at the Opera House here in Shepherdstown, so we moved them to this outdoor venue called the Prolly, which is kind of a private residence, and unfortunately they share a driveway, and their neighbors recognized this might cause a lot of traffic on their driveways, so they didn't want us to do that there, so I had to move that, and then moved it to another spot. That got changed, kept on having to find a place to have the works play for 2 nights. So finally, I called a bunch of my real estate friends. I'm like, look, I just need a piece of property that someone needs to make a couple of bucks off of. I just need it for 2 nights. So enter Abe Ashton into the equation and the Bavarian Villa. And so he let us use his property, and we had 6 weeks to put this series of shows together. The whole time, Madison House, their booking agency, had actually given me outs, saying, look, you don't have to do this. I understand. And, my integrity with me is everything. If I put my name on a contract, I'm going to keep my word, and it's going to end up getting paid. So I told them that. I'm like, look, if worse comes to worse, and this doesn't work out, Humphrey's is playing in Philly. Me and the band will go to Philly, and I'll still pay him $2,000. So we ended up pulling this off, invited a bunch of local bands out, had a local sound company get together who we still use to this day, and we pulled off this, getting this thing going. Except this was, do you guys remember El Derecho?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that storm? Well, this was that same weekend when it literally all the power got knocked out from Ohio east. So we had 2 tornadoes skirt the property the first night. Knocked out all the power. There were trees down everywhere. People couldn't even get to the party. Bands were having a hard time getting to the property. Literally trees falling on every single road to get in there. And we had no running water because this was pumped on a well. And because it was on a well, you need a well pump. And the only thing we had was this generator to run the stage. So we passed into the generator, get the sound and lights back up and the stage going. And, about 120 to 150 people ended up having a really neat weekend. Johnny Neal from the Allman Brothers ended up showing up out of surprise. And, by the time it was all said and done, we were like, man, this is amazing. We just had one of the greatest weekends ever. And someone said, hey, why don't you guys throw a festival? And like a fool, I said yes. And,
what a great idea! I've always wanted my own festival.
Well, you guys are so awesome at it.
So we have this festival now, and that's how we celebrate our wedding anniversary, is giving everyone out, making sure everyone has a great time. Yeah. And it's very reflective of what a real wedding is. What your wedding is. The wedding is not about the bride and the groom. The wedding is about your guests.
Right. That's really cool idea.
That's if you want it to be about the bride and the groom, you elope. So we didn't do that, and in the spirit of our marriage, where we try to really practice selflessness, we end up, losing about $25,000-$30,000 every year on our wedding anniversary.
Whoa, man.
That's quite a loss, but you have some fun. I've seen you guys. It's definitely an experience. I think every year I've met at least 2-3 dozen people minimum that even after the event happens, they're still talking about it for the rest of their season. So you definitely make a memory that lasts. You do some magical things there at Tea Party.
Well, that was one of the things about our wedding is, we had some things go on financially the year that we were getting married, and Elise was really having a rough time at her job at the time as an insurance agent, and we just kind of pulled the trigger on the wedding. We just said, look, there's always going to be a reason why we can't financially. We're always going to find a reason financially why we don't want to spend the amount of money involved in a wedding, even a small wedding. So let's just go ahead and do this. And while you're at it, just quit your job. Because in 6 months we need to get married. We can't afford a wedding planner, so you're it. Yeah, you're it.
That's awesome. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, to plan a wedding is pretty awesome. I'm not complaining.
But one of the things that came out of the wedding was a lot of people that came out for our wedding were really touched by it, the imagery, the whole experience of what we created that night, and that's kind of been a theme of our marriage, is how everybody really seems to admire what me and her have in a relationship. It gets tougher just like any other married couple, except we try not to argue in public.
That's a good trait, though. That's like...
nobody's got time for that.
Well, no, it totally makes sense, because if you're arguing in public, then that's just giving people around you an excuse to see your business and think that there's something wrong and just argue with you and pick sides. And once people start doing that, it breaks up a relationship. So by keeping those kind of things to yourself, it's inspiring. And more people need to do that, because you're right. No one's got time for that.
You better do that.
Oh, yeah? We don't really go out in public enough.
You were saying that everybody always sees us together, and we're always together. It's because she's my best friend. We don't do the whole, well, I'm going out with my friends, you're going out with your friends, because we're all of us are friends with each other. That's not to say that, at a festival she might go one way, I'll go the other. It's never planned, but at the end of the day, I tell people this, the first thing I want in the morning is to open my eyes to my wife, and the last thing I want at the end of the day is to give my wife a kiss on the cheek as I fall asleep. You know, I can't imagine experiencing anything worth experiencing and not having her there to share that experience with.
And in all the 8 years that we've been together, we have never spent a night apart. We always sleep in the same bed together at the end of the night.
That's awesome, and that's like a beautiful trait. I must say and give a shout out to your blog, Taco. Talk about it. I think the first one I read was actually the one about your relationship and how honesty was key. Sorry.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a shout out to that. And what other topics can we look forward to coming out of that blog?
Thanks.
I mean, that's the thing. When I sit down and write my blog, I really, a lot of times, it just kind of comes to me, look, I think I want to share this. This last blog that I did was about losing my best friend, which was a real, I don't talk about that much. That was a real, it really let a lot of people in on that if they chose to read it. But it was something that, has really kind of defined a lot of who I am, was that experience. We don't pick those moments that define us, but there are moments that define us, and that was one of them. And because it was a turning point in my life of really seeing what was important versus what wasn't important. So I really just sat down and just started writing, and that kind of came up. And I always like to try to share a positive message with people about how to go about trying to bring some positive change in your life. And that was one of those things that brought a lot of positive change in my life. Don't get me wrong, I love to party, I love to have fun. But in the same sense, when you've been to enough festivals and enough shows, you see a lot of people that kind of fall to the wayside because they never had anyone kind of educate them about, look, you do have limits, and we all want to seek out our limits, but sometimes there's limits when you get to them, they can be deadly. And we have a responsibility to the people that we love. This scene that we're in, this community that we've built, it's all about loving each other and taking care of each other. And we need to understand that there's a responsibility that comes to that. When I lost my best friend, I didn't realize it at that time, but I've come to learn that when we can end up hurting people simply by not being there. And we have a responsibility to the people that love us and care for us to always try to be there. And that involves just taking care of yourself. But all of my topics kind of just come straight from the heart. And I never really want to tell someone how to live or be real preachy, but I know sometimes it comes off like that. Elise will attest to the fact that I'll have her read them multiple times. I was like, I'm not preaching, am I? So, yeah, that's the Taco About It blog. I just like to talk about the things that I think that are important to me and I think are important to other people.
They're definitely important and they're inspiring. So don't really worry about preaching to people. If they don't want to read it, they don't have to. But the people that just generally are inspired by what you do and what you have to say will definitely read it and support it. And I know I've read several of them, and I love that you have such influential topics. And that being said, do you have like a spiritual path, either of you, like a particular spiritual path or vision that drives you to do what you do, other than your fans?
I'm probably the more spiritual of the two, and it's funny that we're talking about that at the moment because I recently had I don't know, I guess a need to have more spirituality in my life. I've been feeling like there's something missing, and I've been looking into Buddhism and their whole philosophy. I guess I'm kind of new agey, you know. I like to meditate, and I believe that there is a higher power. But really, we're all looking for peace, and we're all looking for happiness. And I think a big way for that path is to make others happy and to spread love. And I believe in karma, and I think the more good deeds you put out there and the more love that you put out into the world, the more that you'll get back and the happier that you'll be. I think as soon as you start thinking the phrase, what about me, that's when you start feeling bitter and dissatisfied. But as soon as you think, well, what about you? What about my family? What about my friends? And you start serving towards them and being more generous, then you are happy. And I think we achieve more happiness that way, seeing the people around us happy. And like you said, with the people, I mean, even though we might not see each other on our wedding anniversary at the festival because we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to make sure that everything's going right. At the end of the day, seeing that many people happy and having people come up to us and say that they had such a great time, that just fills me with so much joy, and it often brings me to tears. And even people seeing the magazine and getting the positivity from that and getting the exposure that they need and having that be a stepping stone for them, that's what life's all about, and I feel so fulfilled by it. So I guess that's my spirituality, is just being kind to others and giving as much as you can and taking as little as you can. Do more, take less.
Totally.
It's the philosophy.
Totally. That's beautiful. And I totally agree with that as well. I'm totally all about that karma, all about karma crew and promoting, doing good things for good people.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask or anything?
I just wanted to say that, this magazine that you guys are putting together is really amazing, and I did like what you said about the artists and musicians and how, they're not really paid as much as, some careers. But for me, I feel like the leaders of this new world that we are creating together are going to be the artists and the musicians and, the people doing the workshops. So I'm very happy and I'm very honored to share a mission with you guys. And I was curious about the name. I know you said you love the Appalachian Mountains, but where did the Jamwich come from?
That's awesome that you brought that up. I'm really glad, by the way. I really want to take a second and thank you two for doing this with us, because I think that we have a lot going on, Elise and I, and, beyond just the magazine and the festival. We're both, we have a son, I have a daughter, we have our relationship, I have an e-juice shop, I have a landscaping company, we got a lot going on, but taking this time, really, I think it put a lot back in perspective for me. As to why I'm actually doing this. It's been something that I've kind of been struggling with lately, because it's easy to get caught up in the human bullshit. Is basically that human condition of pessimism. So thank you very much for doing this. It really means a lot. This kind of refocused my attention on the things that it needs to be on. But that being said, the Jamwich name, where it came from. It came up in was it the back seat of the car, or was it down at Maggie's?
No, none of the above. I had to think of
the name. That's right.
Yeah, no, I just had to think of a bunch of random names, and there are other ones out there. I can't even remember, but they were all kind of silly. But the Jamwich came from a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that they sell at cheap stores. That's called Jamwich, and I think I just ordered my MCO, and I saw it, and I elbowed Taco, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we named our magazine Jamwich? Because it's the jam scene, so it's the jam band, but it's all the scene that incorporates it, the artists and the industry and the merchants and everything else. So it's like a sandwich of jam.
I love it.
Jam sandwich.
Sandwich.
I totally love it. Earlier,
I threw it out there to like a little team of brainstormers I had at the moment, and everyone seemed to like it, so we just rolled with it.
Yeah, the name, every time I hear somebody say it or I say it, kind of just rolls off the tongue, and it just sounds so perfect.
Hey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How did you guys, actually, I have a question for you guys.
go for
How
it.
did you guys come to start this podcast?
Good one.
That is a very good question. Well, I have been doing podcasts for a few years, and I first did it for Eternal Tribe Foundation, and then I did it for Emergence Earth, and then somebody told me that I should start my own thing and do my own thing, and I was like, they're totally right. So I was coming to Rootwire, and I met Shannon and haven't left her side since, and podcasting was something that I wanted to continue to do, and she was the one that re-inspired that the manifestation of it. And then I had Project Bring Me to Life for a few years, and I hadn't used it for about at least a year, and then I just looked at it and I was like, I should use this name.
You had it pretty much for a while though. Right around the same time you guys started doing Appalachian Jamwich, about 2010, 2011,
Yep.
He started making all these recordings, and when he came to my house, he just kept showing me like all these like documentaries and voice clips from like, he's not telling you the part where he quit his job and went across country and hitchhiked and came up with all these awesome adventures that really happened, but in a more intense, probably way than he can even describe them. Like he had like a full documentary's worth of information that pretty much got stolen from him on the road, but he still has all the stories, and every day he writes more of the stories down, and it builds the project up even more. And he's really good at making videos, so I was just like, well, there's already, like, you guys already have Jamwich, you guys are already doing something awesome and giving them something in like a print form, and I've always loved video and making movies, and I kind of see life as being a movie star anyway. It's kind of how Shy Time happened. So we just kind of like combined projects, and that's why I said it's like so inspiring to talk to you guys, because you guys have been doing it for just like a couple years longer, and you have such a similar storyboard, sort of like you guys are best friends, and that's what we're all about, is just promoting that best friend love and getting them power couples together so that they can build their projects. So you guys are really an inspiration. I just can't tell you that enough.
Yes, you are.
Oh, well, thank you. That's really cool to hear your story, too. And it's cool that we are walking similar paths. So many people are, and you find yourself walking on the path together somehow.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's you know, there's the similarities. I think a lot of times, you know, people forget. I'm really good at bridging, I guess, different groups of people and whatnot, or being able to have a conversation with a banker, a homeless guy, a cop. It doesn't matter. I always look for common ground in people, because it's not as difficult as a lot of people think. You know, I think part of us, it comes naturally to look for things that are different in each other, but it's so much easier to look for the things that we have in common. And you know, I think that's one of the things that holds this world back from being a better place. Is, more often than not, a lot of people want to look for things that make us different instead of the things that we all share. You know what I mean? I call it terminal uniqueness, and people suffer from this syndrome I'm terminally unique. And you know, Fight Club, one of my favorite parts of that was when he was like, "They're not a special snowflake," and I was like, that guy just said it. It's true. We're all in this together. That's what that said to me. You know, is that we are all in this world together. None of us is any more or less significant, which means no one's suffering should be any more or less valued than another person. You know, we're all the same thing, man. And you know, once you start understanding that, you start recognizing those needs that other people have, and you know, that's what really keeps me going a lot of the time. Is you know, knowing that, you know, this person's feeling it too, and it's I love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
That's bottom line. That's my thing. I really love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I told Elise when we started this magazine, if this thing fails, but one band gets help, or one artist manages to make a living because of what we tried to do, then it was worth it. And that's how I really feel about the magazine.
That's awesome, and I admire that so much. Sincerely. Real quick, to the listeners that are listening, I want to give you a chance to send the questions in the chat room. If you have any questions, we'll have a couple questions from the audience here in a minute. And also, if you haven't yet, there's a chance to win a chakra bracelet that I made that was charged in the Lee of full moon. All you have to do is subscribe to the website, which is to the right of the live feed, and just put your email in there to get a newsletter, and it just tells you who our awesome guests are of the feature week.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, usually we do them monthly, so you don't even have to worry about weekly right now.
Monthly what?
Newsletter.
Yes, the newsletters are something I have not gotten very good at doing, so please, everybody, keep me on it.
Yeah, we're good.
That is, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, well, it's getting there. I do them sometimes for you. But just while we're getting some questions from the audience, why don't you guys let everybody know where they can find you and how they can order tickets for Mad Tea Party Jam, because that's important.
Okay, where they can find us?
Yeah, like your website and shops and magazine. How can they order the magazine?
Well, there's www.themadteapartyjam.com.
Yeah, themadteapartyjam.com's got all the info that you need. You can click Get Tickets right there on the homepage. You can also find information on our event page on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, which most of us are. So on Facebook, at the page Mad Tea Party Jam, if you actually click on the Mad Tea Party Jam event, that info will have our full lineup, a little more info on volunteering, vending, and there will be a link to buy tickets there as well. Appalachian Jamwich, we're also on Facebook. Please give us a like. We post funny pictures and motivational quotes, as well as keeping you up to date with all the music going on in the Appalachian region, as well as, of course, festivals. We mostly keep it small, keep it family, though. We don't post a lot of big major festivals on there, but if you are interested in supporting small, that's where you'll find some of the best up-and-coming stuff is on our Appalachian Jamwich Facebook page and on our website, AppalachianJamwich.com. We have up-to-the-minute press releases, lots of festival and show reviews, and you can buy all of our magazines there. You can buy every one that was ever in existence that didn't sell out. We had a couple issues that sold out. And you can also buy an annual subscription and get them mailed to your door every month.
The other thing you can do to get our magazine is you can go to Dante's and Frostburg. You could go to Morgantown. There's several different outlets for our magazine in Morgantown. One of them is Black Bear Burrito. Other places, Good Natured in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Blue Moon in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. We're in Baltimore. We distributed. Gosh, there's a bunch of different places to Go to the 8x10 in Baltimore.
You'll definitely find them at the 8x10. That's for sure in Baltimore. There's a bunch of other places. Sweetbriar Bait is one of them. But if you are ever wondering where to pick up a magazine, just message me on Facebook and I'll send you a whole list.
That's awesome.
Speaking of which, April 3rd at the 8x10 is going to be an Appalachian Jamwich birthday party. So we're not going to have the bands right now, but if you can make it at the 8 by 10 on April 3rd, we're going to have our big birthday party there. That's 3 years of Appalachian Jamwich. And then we're also, for those of you who can't make it all the way out to Baltimore, closer to home here in Winchester at the Blue Fox on April 10th, we're going to have Consider the Source, 3 Sound, and DJ Leeds Hurley performing at our 3-year birthday at Blue Fox Billiards in Winchester, Virginia.
Man, you guys got quite the lineup going.
You're getting it. Doing work.
I also I have a couple of copies too of ones that I've kept and ones that I've picked up over some festivals that I would love to get to some homes. My personal favorite, I have to say, is number 29 because you guys featured me with Handmaided Love, and I just want to say thank you for that personally. Like that made my day. I got that at a really.
Thank you for being a part of it. You definitely spread your beautiful shine all over the scene, and I see you, darling, and I think the world needed to see it. And I mean, that's the least we could do for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you guys, I don't know if I'm probably definitely told you, but it just came at such a perfect time. I was asking the universe for a sign to pretty much tell me that I could keep doing what I love to do, and I had just lost my grandma 3-4 days before my 23rd birthday, and on my 23rd birthday, you messaged me. I don't even think you knew it was my birthday, but if you did, good job. But like the way you contacted me, it was such a magical event that it couldn't have happened any better. So, mad.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's really meant to be, and I'm glad that we could be a little beacon in your life at that moment.
Definitely, totally were. I actually have the picture of the issue that I was featured in on the page. So if anyone wants to go and buy a copy of that, it's available through like they said, you can buy all their previous ones. And just so you know, like the price actually generally goes for shipping, doesn't it, guys? Like you guys aren't making a fortune off this. You're doing it because you love it, and as far as I knew, like it was mostly shipping.
Yeah, no, it's paying for the shipping and the envelope is what you're mainly paying for, helping us offset the cost of all the other shipping that we do. Our shipping costs are through the roof, but it's because we're trying to get it to all these, get the magazine to all these different cities so that people can pick it up for free. Mm-hmm. And that's what the main mission is. But if you do order a copy, it's only $3. And if you buy an annual subscription, it's still only $3 an issue. It mostly pays for the envelopes and the shipping and all the kisses and love that I put in there.
Aww. And it just helps support your awesome mission. And that is awesome. I love that you put love into every package.
You literally kiss it.
Yeah, Elise is going to be doing a whole lot of that here tomorrow. We got the latest issues ready to roll out.
Oh yeah, we just got the March issue. You heard it first. So they're all rolling out tomorrow, and we'll be debuting that on the Appalachian Jamwich Facebook page too.
Ooh, I love that.
Actually, this issue was really important to me because we featured our really good friends and family, the Works, and you were talking about really cool, uplifting moments with the magazine. One of the coolest moments for me, as a big admirer of the band The Works, when we started this, was having Chris Hauser ask me and Elise for our autographs. You know what I mean? I was like, come on, dude. Come on. He's like, seriously. He's like, what you guys do is just so awesome. And I'm a real big humility guy, so I was blushing. I think I might be blushing right now. But that was really a really neat moment for me. Someone that I had so much admiration and was such a fan of, saying that to me was really cool. I've had a couple of other really neat moments with the magazine that were really interesting. Mike Dillon at Camp Barefoot was actually reading the magazine and looked at me and was like, "Hey, you're that guy." They sat down and wanted me to eat lunch with him. That was really neat. Jeff Austin at All Good in Ohio, he actually flagged me down. He had a copy of the magazine. And, that was really neat because Jeff Austin was really, the band that got me back into bluegrass back in, I guess it was 2003 at Bonnaroo. So, I've had a chance to really meet some people that I've just always admired and respected, and it's when all of a sudden you're on common ground, and you have an ability to, all of a sudden you have a friendship and a relationship with these people. It's a very neat thing, because at the end of the day, so many of these artists and musicians that I absolutely love and respect, they're just like anyone else. You know what I mean? They're just on a different schedule than most of us, and it's pretty neat when you realize, hey, these are just average, ordinary people that are just trying to get through, and it's awesome, man. It's a really cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Plus, too, I get interviewed by people like you. How fucking cool is that?
That is awesome, and it makes our day to be able to do it and just support you guys and make it happen.
Yeah, we were equally
I'm not
pumped.
used to being on this end of an interview.
I bet you're not. That's probably pretty cool. Well, we're glad to be able to do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things you're looking forward to make your project grow, and how can your community help you?
Well, I mean, like Elise was saying, a subscription, I mean, I know that you're having to come off $36, but it goes so much further when we're trying to recruit potential advertisers, because we don't make money off the subscription, we don't make money off the magazine sales. Really, the only way for us to recoup money is through advertising. And, even that, we're kind of picky. There's certain people we just won't work with. There's a couple of festivals out there that I won't work with because of unethical business practices and things like that. I don't want to advertise for Colgate toothpaste. I want to advertise for people like you and, more grassroots businesses. And that's not to say that I'll turn down a corporate business. Don't anyone think that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to turn down a lot of corporate business. So that's the main thing is, people subscribing. I mean, at the end of the day, money does kind of, it's what prints the magazine. And for the magazine to continue, we need those ad dollars. So, subscription is huge,
Something else that helps, which is simple and free, is liking us on Facebook and sharing on Facebook. Advertisers, when they go to our Facebook page, they want to see that we have a lot of likes and we have a lot of activity and supporters. So just by sharing our pictures, getting your friends to like our page, that helps. Distributing the magazine, telling your friends about it, spreading the word. The more people that know about the magazine, the better. So that helps us a lot too, and that's something nice and cheap and easy for everybody that actually makes a tremendous impact.
That's awesome. All right. You guys are, I'm glad that we did get a chance to interview you because you're really good at telling your story, and that's important to getting your story out there.
Oh yeah.
We're still learning how to do that, but we've been growing and inspired a lot. So our audience has a couple questions for you, and I'm gonna let him ask them.
This one is from Samuel. He asks, and this is for Taco, what do you hope to accomplish with Appalachian Jamwich for the year of 2015?
That's a good one. With the magazine for this year, 2015, I want to try to increase content. I would love for to be able to add another 4 pages to the magazine. That would be huge. 4 more pages of print would enable us to cover more about this community. The other thing, too, that I want to do in 2015 is really have our magazine recognized, not, music and art magazine for sure, but really have people understand that this is it's a cultural or lifestyle magazine, and that's really what we're documenting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many outlets out there for me to find out what show is playing where, what band is playing where, and read show reviews and read festival reviews. I want people to turn to our magazine that want to be able to really relate a little bit more to our culture and look at the fan spotlight where we spotlight a face in the crowd and see if they can run into that person at a festival.
Yeah.
As well as, recognize the beautiful artwork that's being created in the jam scene right now. There's a lot of beautiful artistry going on that, I don't think there's enough respect. And I don't want to box it into a genre either of just calling it, live painting or transformational art. I think it's art. Art is art.
Yeah.
You can box it in, you can call it lowbrow, fine art, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's artwork, and that needs to be appreciated from the street artist to the gallery piece. And those are definitely two solid goals for me to have happen this year for the magazine. The other thing too is I would really love it if the industry would start looking at our magazine more as a barometer for what is happening in the scene.
Yeah.
I think that we have been really successful in picking the bands that we think are going to be breaking out and up and coming. And sure enough, they have. This year with the Mad Tea Party, we have bands that, most of the bands that are on our lineup have played with us before and have gone on from the small Mad Tea Party to play Wakarusa, New Orleans Jazz Festival, Lock-In, Summer Camp, Mountain Jam, Christmas Jam, Bonnaroo. I mean, all these big, huge festivals. And here they are showing up at a 1,500-person cap festival to come play with us again on our wedding anniversary and to play with the community that we cherish. So that's one thing I definitely want to see the magazine happen with the magazine in 2015 as well, is have people recognize that we're trying to call the talent out for you. All you got to do is pick up a copy, and you're going to see someone in there that needs a little bit more patronage from the community.
Mm-hmm. You should definitely check out Spaceship Earth when you're saying up and coming. I've traveled with him. Last year I went to maybe 10 festivals with him. But his music is so wonderful. I beg you to check out his music.
Who's that again?
Spaceship Earth.
Nice. Okay.
We made a music video for him.
Yes, we did.
It was our first music video we got to work on. So
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it was. Sure. He did a remix of Radioactive, and we really have a thing for that song because one of our slogans is "Wake Up and Stay Awake," and that's got the big waking up drop in it. So it was kind of like our theme song for a while, and it was pretty cool. And we have a couple other awesome artists on the website too, so musicians and stuff. And I really like that you push the art so much. The music gets you in the zone, but the art's what's gonna be hanging up on walls hundreds of years from now, so that people are like, oh, I remember that piece was made to that song, and it'll just take them back.
Yes, absolutely, and it's universally, readable. Like, you can speak different languages and see a piece of art that will move you, and you can feel something different than the person next to you feels when they look at art. Like, that's something that's so wonderful about art to me, and it's so valuable. I think that everyone needs to recognize the value of art.
Are either of you artists or musicians? I'm sure.
Ooh, nice.
I actually went to college for a very brief time for painting and fine art. That's what I wanted to do growing up in high school. I would draw and paint, and actually the Mad Tea Party Jam 2 t-shirt, where there's Alice with like little dreadies poking out of a mirror, I actually drew that picture. But I don't much anymore. These days I dedicate my time more to other artists in the scene, but there's artists that just constantly blow my mind. When I started the magazine, I was a little bit afraid of running out of artists to cover, and now I know that that's never going to happen. It's an amazing, beautiful thing. But I'm very glad to help these people that are really dedicating their lives to this passion and spending their time 24/7. Because honestly, when I was doing it, it was still not a 24/7 driven to do it sort of thing. I was always dabbling in too many other things. So I think that I'm in a perfect place now, but I can certainly understand these artists and see where they're coming from. And one of my favorite things to do with some of my closer artist friends, because people that I'm not close with might be offended, is, collaborate with a painting, and, like, they'll ask me for advice, and I'll be like, well, maybe if you add this color, it'll pop, or paint alongside them, and talk about art with them, and I'm really privileged to be immersed in the art culture.
Yeah. Nice.
Definitely.
And I just play a little guitar.
Well, doesn't your son play the saxophone?
Yes, Alex plays the saxophone. He plays currently alto and baritone.
That's awesome. I wanted to give him a shout out because I always see him.
He just plays second in the state on baritone.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, he's pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of that as well. He's being blessed with all the problems that seem to be common to a 13-year-old boy. That means I'm being blessed with more gray hairs than the father of a 13-year-old.
He's really fun, though. I've seen him at several festivals, and he's definitely a character of his own, and it's exciting to be able to, like, watch him grow up as part of the movement, just in generally that you guys are doing. It's definitely like a family thing. So that's really cool that he, like, I have the picture up that you guys sent me of him with his saxophone and you guys on stage, and that's got to be an experience for him growing up like that.
Yeah, he's very well acquainted with the highway, and he's very well acquainted though with all aspects of the way that this a music festival works, from backstage to the bands to the attendees, and I haven't sheltered it. As a matter of fact, when I see bad things happening, I try to point it out to him. Because we always say, we need to educate our children, but then we don't want to let them see the downsides or the negatives to life. And I think that we don't equip our children enough when we shelter them like that. I think that, it's okay for your kids to know that bad things happen. And it's, I certainly did when I was growing up. When I was 3 years old, I lived in the Philippines. I lived there until I was 5. And, while I was there, I saw a lot of terrible things that, most American children don't see. And, I'm glad I did, because it you understand that a human being is multifaceted, and, that there are bad things that can happen at any time. And, I feel with my son that he's very well equipped to deal with a lot of situations that a lot of 13-year-olds wouldn't be equipped to deal with. And naturally as a parent, a concern of mine is, is my kid going to end up doing all kinds of drugs? And as a parent, you don't want your kid, frankly, using all kinds of drugs. Now that I'm a parent, I know how my parents felt. But, in the same sense, I feel that now he's more educated and he's better equipped to make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important, But he's a special kid, and I don't think I would change what we've done with him in the least, because he's not shy about picking up a paintbrush and painting. He's not he looks forward to trying to entertain people with his saxophone. And last year we had a real big surprise. It was a surprise for me and Elise for him to get on stage with the Mantras. I actually argued with the Mantras to not have him on the stage because I didn't want jam bands to ruin his life.
That's awesome.
If you see him at a festival, don't let him hustle you a sticker for $5. Down to $1.
I think he might have tried once, but he's such a little boss.
He was trying to sell you that twig over there for a few dollars. Don't let it.
I believe it. He actually helped find my vending spot at Tea Party last year. I got there kind of early, maybe not too early, but right before the rain got there. It was like 2 days before the actual event, because we got there like super early when you guys were still like setting things up. And he came down, I think someone might have been letting him drive the golf cart, I don't remember, but he came down, pointed me in the direction, told me what to do, and I was just like, okay, this kid looks like he's in charge. He's got to be Taco, so let's see, I'll just follow him, okay. And he, like, took care of it.
Yeah, it was funny at Paradise. I was stage manager at this festival in Kentucky run by Central Production. The same people that throw Resonance, they put on Paradise. And, yeah, we got there. I was immediately getting everything together for me to do my job. And later that night, he goes by in a golf cart by himself, and he has a radio. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And Casey, the main guy behind the event, he's like, oh, yeah, I gave Alex a radio and a golf cart. He figured I could keep it busy.
Personality, and I don't have either of those things. I'm like hustling up and down the hill.
That's hilarious.
Meanwhile, he's a boss.
That's one way to keep them entertained, for sure. It's awesome. Well, I think there's a couple more questions from the audience. Would you like to ask this?
Samantha had two of them. The first one, what advice would you give other couples who wish to one day do something as wonderful and amazing as Appalachian and Jamwich and Project Bring Me to Life? The second one, is there a place to make a donation to help with your shipping costs?
Well, the donation one's easy. If you go to AppalachianJamwich.com, it's right there on the homepage on the left. So just scroll down on the left and you'll see a donate button, and you'll also see a subscribe now button. So you can sit there and deliberate if you'd like to donate or subscribe, or you should do that.
And as for a project to take on as a couple, something that a lot of people don't know about me and Elise is that we actually worked together for a few years in a restaurant after we had gotten together. And I think that was a good chance for her to see how I operate and a good chance for me to see how she works. We are very different people. And, you know, something with me is, you know, I grew up working on a farm. I worked a lot of construction sites. I was project manager for years. And, you know, there's a certain type of management style on a construction site. It's a big ass and big names kind of style. So because of that, you know, that's kind of, I'm a very rough-edged kind of person. I want things done now, and I want them done, you know, something that takes 12 hours, I'm only going to give you 2 hours to do. But, you know, with Elise, you know, she's an incredibly patient person, so she can deal with that modicum of behavior with me, which I'm not saying is good at all, by any means. It's something I'm working on daily. But, you know what I mean? It's absolutely being able to tolerate each other, and at the end of the day, be able to look at each other and say, you know, look, it's, you know, we're done, and let's put that aside, and let's get back to the you. You know, we definitely wear different hats. And, you know, in all reality, if it wasn't for Elise, that magazine would not get printed through us. She is the cog. She really is. She's the hub of this whole thing.
We'll do that.
Our business partner, DK, you know, we've all come to learn our different roles. Danny was a primary investor, and he is our publisher. Elise is everything administrative, and I'm everything that involves marketing. I'm the face of the company, so to speak. And, you know, I'm really good at forging relationships, and that's how you would do things in any relationship. Is you have to understand that each person has a role in your marriage. You know, maybe your husband's good at cooking and you're not. Well, then your husband should probably be doing the cooking.
Well, maybe you're good at videography and your husband's good at cooking, and then you start a cooking show. I don't know. I just think you should find out your strengths in each other and weaknesses if you want to start a project together as a couple, and just combine them for the better.
That's beautiful. I really love that.
Yeah,
for sure. What's funny is something a lot of people don't know about us is well, like you said, he came here the day before Rootwire because him and some friends needed a place to crash because they're from Michigan and I'm in Maryland and Rootwire was right up the road from me. Yeah, but he hasn't left since, and we actually got a job together, and we work at a photography studio together, and it's kind of the same deal, but we are completely on opposite ends of the work scale. I sit at the computer and he's busy on his feet all day, so it's like completely different ends. But someone's got to do both jobs.
Yeah.
Well, it works well, though. I mean, if you were both doing the same thing, then there would be a whole different side that wasn't getting done at all.
Right.
So I guess it works best that way.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Real quick before he gets the next question from the audience, did you guys want to pick a number between 0 and 20 for me so I can get the winner for the chakra bracelet?
Chakra bracelet!
In line.
In line.
Yes, I have a number.
All right. What's your number?
16.
16. All right. So he's going to check our subscribers and find the 16th subscriber for us.
Woo, number 16.
Right.
It's going to be awesome.
We will announce the winner at the end.
Yes. Yeah, so we're going to announce the winner in just a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys, we usually have the mustache you a question segment, but that's when we have video and everybody puts on little mustaches and it's kind of fun. But we want to just give you guys a chance to ask us a question and just anything you want, really, that you might be wondering about or.
All right. I must ask you.
Waffle wrap.
That'd probably be where I have to go. My first falafel fire, and I must say that we've been making it at least once or twice a month ourselves since.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Speaking of food, though, earlier I was saying something about the magazine. I was like, "Go get the Jamwich. It has a sandwich in it." And he was just like, "It'd be cool if it had sandwiches in it, like sandwich recipes." I was like, "But it actually has a sandwich in it." And I was trying to like refer to where you have all the lineup of who's coming up for the.
The Jamwich.
I know, we do have sandwiches in it. I forgot about that.
And they actually have jam on them. But it was pretty cool.
Sandwich.
He's like, it needs to have a featured sandwich. It'd be cool.
I didn't say that.
I said that.
Oh, are you guys going to Chicago?
For the Fare Thee Well? Or the...
Yeah.
Probably not. That sounds like a whole lot of crazy.
Yep.
That's what we kind of thought too.
We actually worked really, really hard just to get 2 tickets to give away. We never got the 2 tickets, but we worked really hard to try to secure 2 tickets, specifically just to give away.
We really, really wanted to miracle somebody with the ticket, and we didn't get them. We got a rejection letter, and we even sat at the computer for like 6 hours trying to get the Ticketmaster and didn't get them. But oh well, we weren't meant to have them, I guess.
But that's awesome that you guys would go through all that effort to be able to miracle somebody. Like, that's a good amount of time to put into what you're doing for someone else. And, I mean, on top of what you're already doing. So.
Well, you know, for me, it was one of my favorite things I used to love doing when I was into the group. You know, when the Grateful Dead were still performing. And so I figured it was my last chance to do it. Haven't had a chance to miracle anyone in 20 years. So I really wanted to try to pull that off, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But then again, you never know. Someone might miracle me, so I can miracle someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Keep on passing miracles.
Somebody wants a miracle taco, so you can pass a miracle on. Send your ticket to 82 Money.
That would be really cool, though. So if someone really did want to do that, they should definitely get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I'm hoping that they end up showing up at Lockett this year. I have a feeling they're going to, but I would really like to. I hope that they can perform a few other shows to give some of the other folks the opportunity to do it. I mean, I get it. You got to retire at some point, and it's a very meaningful place that they're choosing to end it. So you know, at the end of the day, it just so happens that they have millions of fans, and you know, and it's a pretty amazing. It's amazing how many fans they have when you think about the way this whole Chicago thing played out. And either way, the last shows, the last run, wherever it's going to be, it would be like this regardless. So you know, it's been a pretty spectacular thing to watch, especially when it's the band that, you know, I think we owe everyone in the jam scene owes a little bit of respect to, because you know, these are the guys that made it all happen. You know, a lot of times, you know, people forget that if it wasn't for the Grateful Dead, we wouldn't have the kind of scene that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. That's totally true. Like they brought Shakedown Street to us, and like the family aspect to what jam bands are today. And I remember I saw your post on Facebook. You were like, "Man, this is my last envelope and Elise's first." So it was definitely, like, I'm sure, a moment for you guys to experience together. It's pretty cool.
You know, it was teary-eyed, for me especially. So it was neat, though. It was neat. I really struggled with whether we were going to try to do it or try to get tickets or whatever, and we really did. It was something I really struggled with, but you know, in the end, before, you know, we even got our rejection letter or anything, I said, you know, I really would prefer to just send 2 people out to Chicago if we do get our tickets than go ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we took a chance, came up short, but hey, get an A for effort.
Definitely. It's definitely the thought that counts on that one. Well then, did you have a question you wanted to do for the Mustache a Question segment, Taco?
What was that again?
Did you have a question you wanted to ask either both of us or one of us or anything?
Yeah, actually, you know, you guys, as you were saying, you know, you guys have been doing this now for almost a year. How far are you guys trying to take this thing this year?
This year? Oh, I had a 3-year plan, but yeah, we're.
All right, well, let's hear that.
Okay.
Go for it.
For the first year, we just want to keep creating as much high quality content as we can, keep improving, you know, that, and improving ourselves as we do intuitive guidance and spiritual counseling and channeling sessions. Keep improving that. We are trying to work on our paintings, and then once we finally just, I guess, get, you know, a good portfolio going, foundation, right? Building the foundation. And then we'll continue to move on. Hopefully in the second year we'll do a tour with some of the musicians and artists and workshop facilitators that we have, and go across the country to different spots doing a 1 or 2 day expo or. Whoa.
That was the angel saying.
Yeah, I know. Nice, thank you. And by the end of the 3 years, I wrote down, and I think we share this, would like to have some kind of studio or space where we can sort of set up our studio for the podcast, for musicians to come and record, somewhere with the stage so people could do workshops. Basically, just like a
holistic healing venue.
Yes.
Kind of like bridging the gap between like the festival world with the spiritual world and what I like to call the Muggle world. That phase you have to go and kind of deal with when festivals aren't happening.
I totally get it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to put you guys in touch with Jennifer Antelone of the Lightworkers Mill up in Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Now it sounds awesome.
Yeah, actually, you guys have a place with her vision. As soon as you told me where you guys are trying to go with this,
yeah,
yeah, you guys definitely need to get with Jen, and make sure that facilitates that.
Please do. We would all, like, that's pretty much what the mission is like to grow all of us together and just bring. Everyone has that personal mission that's just a slightly bit different, and we're just trying to like bridge those gaps and get everybody on the same page.
For sure. You know, and that's the thing. You know, you can do a lot more if the community works together. You know, and it's a hard thing to get the community to. There's definitely a lot of good people in the community, but you know, at the end of the day, we're all human and we all have a lot of life going on. But you know, if we all work together, we can accomplish our goals a lot faster. And that, you know, that's the one thing that I can say about our community versus other communities that are out there is that, you know, we do have a tendency to throw in a little bit more for each other and try to live a little bit more selflessly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's selfish people everywhere you go. Hell, I'm selfish some days. But, you know, I really love that aspect of our culture is that, you know, the ideology behind it is one of a selfish nature. And so, yeah, it's you know, when we all kind of combine towards it, we can make big things happen. And I think that's, you know, the hope of what a lot of things in this community, a lot of causes in this community. You know, that's what, you know, the cause the JAMA Scholarship is all about, is trying to, you know, get everybody to throw in a buck, and next thing you know, you're sending, you know, 2 kids from every state in Appalachian to college with a little bit more money in their pocket.
And that's awesome, by the way. Give that more of a shout out. You are doing a beautiful thing there. You guys have got your own scholarship going?
Yeah, we're trying. We actually have one that we're in the process of creating. We're trying to cover the legal bills to have it be an official 501c3 nonprofit scholarship organization with the Tea Party this year, as well as raise $2,000 for 2 students, one art student and 1 music student in the state of West Virginia to go to art school or music school of their choosing. You know, the legalities behind the scholarship are actually pretty interesting, which is why we're going to have to navigate it with an actual attorney. And as well as, you know, it's important to create a nonprofit because it's easier for me to get a business to contribute to it and donate to it, because then it's tax write-off. You know, at the end of the day, these are businesses, and you know, they have a bottom line and kids to feed themselves. So you know, it has to be a win-win for them too. But you know, it's something that I really feel passionately about, because I don't think that we tell our kids enough that, you know, that their dreams can in fact be a musician or an artist. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that one day my son, when he was in school, they asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said he wanted to have a beef jerky stand. and the teacher told him that he wasn't allowed to do that. He had to pick a real job.
That's ridiculous. I'm so glad that you support his dream.
Get a real job.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because, you know, a real job is working for someone else.
Yeah.
That's how they view it. And, you know, and as an entrepreneur, like Elise and I are, as entrepreneurs, you know, that was really hard for me to bite my tongue about and not go in and complain about. But, you know, I wouldn't have done anything anyways. I mean, you know, they would just look at me and say, yeah, whatever, you know. But, you know, knowing that and hearing that, you know, having this opportunity to create a scholarship is you know, something where we can actually actively encourage by finance change and get people more focused on the arts, because you know, it's huge for some of these kids to just get a little bit of encouragement. You know, you don't get much encouragement in our society as an artist, period. You know, so when we're in a position to be able to encourage somebody, you know, it's preparing for a better tomorrow. You know, what are we without our arts? You know, life would be so dull and terrible, just frankly, just terrible and not worth living if I didn't have art and music in my life. Yeah, I can't imagine going through life without art and music. I've never understood these people that never listen to music. It's like, man, how do you go through your day? You know, or you know, not being able to appreciate art, no matter how simple the form is. you know. But it's something that we're not encouraging enough of in this country, and this is something that we get to do, and I can't wait to be able to hand to students that kind of money, and it's something that we do want to grow into every single state that inhabits the Appalachian Mountain Range, sent to those students, because, you know, especially in the Appalachians, you know, so many kids' opportunities are so limited that the last thing a parent is trying to do is tell their children, you know, to become an artist or become a musician, and that it's not lucrative. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we need to start telling our kids you can make a living doing this. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a starving artist. You can actually make a living at this, and then you can eat every day, and you can live a normal life and be an artist, and you can live a normal life and be a musician, and you can be really happy doing that. So, you know, I think the more we can do that through this scholarship, the better the Appalachian Mountain Range is going to be because of it.
That is beautiful, and I totally agree. And people don't realize, the people that are telling us that we need to get jobs and things like that, they don't realize how much work really goes into what we love. That's artists and musicians. I said the people that are telling him to get a job and stuff like that, they don't realize, like, what we as artists and musicians and promoters, like, what all goes into that, and, like, how much work really goes into those projects and those lifestyles. Like, it's work, but it's fun work because it doesn't feel like it. But those people that are telling us we need to get a job because we're not doing enough, like, they don't realize what we are doing, and that's sad.
Yeah, I challenge, you know, someone too to say that, you know, a touring musician is not working hard. You know, first off, you have to come up with, you know, the $15,000 worth of gear to put on the stage, and then you actually have to get it on the stage, and then you have to set it all up, and then you have to actually you had to take the time to rehearse all the material and then put it out there live and in person and make it a quality set, and then you got to tear it all down, and then you got to load it all into your van. Then you got to drive a long period of time eating really crappy food in very cramped conditions, and you know, just to perform your next set. And you know, that's not an easy job. You know, and it takes a special kind of person to do that. The same way that it takes a special kind of person to defend our country in the military. The same way that it takes a special kind of person to operate on a child. You know what I mean? We all have a role to play in our society and in our culture. And all of those roles need to be cherished, and all of those roles need to be supported. You know, we can't just keep putting all of our money into the things that we deem as lucrative, and you know, going to be big on the stock market. You know, we have to remember that there's more to this life than just making the dollar. It's about increasing the quality of life in our society.
Totally.
And that's what our artists do.
I think it's worth mentioning about artists and about the whole starving artist thing, that if you work hard, and I wrote an editor's letter about this recently, that there's so many talented people out there that don't find success, but the ones that do are the ones that were persistent. So continue to be persistent, continue to work hard. It's not going to happen right away. It's going to take a long time. You might have to work in a pizza store while you're doing it. Kind of an inspiring story on that whole thing is you read the issue where Christian Jacksheimer was interviewed. He's the artist that has done work for Rewire and Papadopio. He does some really stunning, it's like half illustration, half graphic design. He does a mixture of the two. But he worked, you know, at a pizza shop for years while he works on his art. And he works very hard at it, and now he's able to do it full time, and he's one of the most recognized artists in our scene right now. So it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take a lot of hard work, but it's absolutely possible. You just have to use your brain, be smart about it, and just don't stop.
Yeah, there's a great quote from Joe Strummer. He's from the Clash, and it's a quote that I try to pass around, and it's nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. There is nothing more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. And there's a lot to be said for persistence and determination. And it's that's something that our little magazine really is a testament of. I mean, there were a lot of people when we started the magazine didn't think that it would be kicking for this long, let alone taken to the level that it's been taken to in just 3 years. So, persistence and determination, you have to have those two things if you want to have success at any endeavor in life. It's not just music and art. It's whatever your dreams are. Making your dreams, achieving your dreams. It doesn't come easy, and it never will. There's nothing in life that's worth having that comes easy. So, just be persistent, be determined, and it'll happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And it's definitely, like you said, it's growing. It's funny that people expected it to not grow. I know I've heard people from up in Michigan to Asheville talking about it, and I even took a copy with me down in Florida, and it's definitely getting all over the East Coast. And now we have Ashton. I think I gave him a copy to take out with him to California. So you're getting around, and things are definitely happening. And it takes a special kind of person to make a magazine and to continue to do it, like you said, and to pack it and ship it. You guys are just as special as all the artists, musicians, and everything else. The promoters, people don't realize the promoters and how important they are. Like, without them, the artists and musicians are doing it, but without you guys, we're not going to have our names out there.
Exactly.
Oh, well, thank you. And yeah, shout out to all the promoters out there, not just us, but people who throw shows and throw festivals.
Promoters, sound guys, light guys.
Yeah, all those designing.
There's so many people that are so essential to make it happen. And one of my favorite things to do after a show, actually, is walk up to the staff and security of the show and tell everyone thank you, because they're the unsung heroes of the entertainment industry.
Yep.
Your roadies, your sound and production crews. Those guys, they're literally working their asses off just so everybody can have a good time. From the bands to even the they make everything happen for us. And James Welch Sound, they have done their sound for us. They do their sound at Will's Mountain Fest. And Jamie works his ass off. His guys work their ass off. Last year, they only got like 4 hours of rest per night to make the tea party happen. And, none of those guys are spring chickens. It's not like I'm telling a bunch of 20-year-olds you're only going to get 4 hours of sleep. I'm telling 50-year-old, 60-year-old guys, if you're only getting 4 hours of sleep, guys, make sure you're fresh in the morning. So, yeah, there's the promoters. I mean, it's all this work together to really make things happen. And that's why, it really is a community, you know what I mean? We're an ecological, we're an ecosystem. We're all feeding off of each other, and it's an amazing thing, and I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Sure. Well, I think we're gonna start to close this up a little bit, but I want to give you guys a chance to continue your shout-outs. Give a shout-out to anyone else you want to, and everyone else, and just anything else, or just anything else you want to shout out. And before you even do it, I will say beforehand that they are on the spot, guys. Do not hold them to it if your name didn't get mentioned.
Let's see here. Daniel King, my business partner. He has stood by us and had faith in this project before anybody else did, and was willing to he was willing to put the money up to fund this whole thing. So I can't thank him enough for believing in us and working with us every chance that we all get. Naturally, Welsh Sound, Jim Dewey of what is his company? Earthers Lighting. Kenny Pred, Kenneth Holmes, the tour manager for the Works, our festival manager. He drives me absolutely crazy. I drive him crazy. He he manages to make the festival as cohesive of a unit as it is. Essential Productions out of Ohio, Casey Schneider, Zach Zavo, for giving us everything that they can possibly give us for the Mad Tea Party. They throw Residents in Paradise, 2 amazing events. Camp Barefoot. I mean, that's like the Mid-Atlantic homecoming.
The best friend party. It's definitely where all of our best friends gather. The workout is an amazing festival that happens every year in our Ohio family. I love so dearly. There's so many cool people in Ohio.
Ohio is second home for us, for sure. Fat Rob, I love you, buddy.
Baltimore family as well, I have to say. We have got a big family in Baltimore. We love Baltimore.
8x10 Abigail, she's one of the dreamers, man, that put it all out there to make her dreams happen. And that's why, the 8x10 will always, it's I love going there. It's a great place to go to shows. It's a great place to host bands. And, in my opinion, the 8x10 is the heart of the Baltimore jam band scene. The other thing, too, is just in terms of the workout, buy your tickets early, because when they get ready to drop their headliner, woo, the tickets are going to go fast. So get your tickets early and make sure you get them while they're cheap.
Yes, we'll be directing the art again for workout. So come see us in the art gallery and check out all the artists that we'll be bringing out. We'll be bringing out a stunning display of live painting again this year. Thank you to all of my contributors and my distributors. You mean the world to me.
All that for that.
And it wouldn't happen without all of you. George Jones, who does a lot of distributing work for us.
The driver.
He's our driver. He also does the Jamwich lineup for us. He helps me with all my shipping. So thank you so much, George. Thank you to all of our writers. To Carly Shields, who does legwork for us in Richmond, writes for me every month. Alex Neal up in State College, Dylan Schaefer up in PA. Tons of people, Chelsea Gray, thank you for the amazing team you just built for me in Asheville. I'm so excited about Asheville. MJ down in Raleigh. Abigail Gomez, who's going to Aura for us this weekend. A shout out to everyone going down to Aura. That's going to be awesome. A hell of a good time. But Abby writes for us and does some distributing for us as well. I'm so sorry if I forgot someone else. Amber McDonald does a lot of distributing in Morgantown. But all of my writers and everyone who does any smallest thing, it's not small at all, it's huge. Every little help that's blended, because it's not just helping us, it's helping the whole scene when we get that support.
Totally agreed with that, and I agree with that, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot because I realized that you probably have so many people to shout out. So if anyone didn't get mentioned, don't blame them because we're running out of time. But
yeah, I was gonna say I could go on for like an hour.
Yeah, for sure. You guys you probably
Thank
could.
You.
Shout out to Janet Stein.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Project Bring Me to Life.
Yay!
Thank you.
For sure. We're so glad to have you, and we're so blessed to hear your story and to share it, and we can't wait to just share it with everybody. We've had some live viewers, and people are active in the chat, and everybody's loving you guys and what you do, and we just want you to continue that. We're going to go ahead and round up the interview portion of the podcast. We also do an energy forecast and a card reading segment. If you guys are welcome to stay on the line and listen in if you want, but you're welcome to sign off if you're busy, because I'm sure you guys are super busy all the time. But here's your chance to say anything that you'd like to say and give a goodbye and final words to the Project Bring Me to Life crew.
Final words. I got 4. Support small, support family.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Do more, take less.
Oh.
Double and just as equally as beautiful.
I think the biggest 3 words actually are, I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
That's awesome. That's so funny. I have to say that as soon as you said those words, Like, just the way that you had to, like, add that in there, I looked over to him and I just, like, mouthed the words, I love them, and then you said, I love you.
That was
perfect!
Thank you guys so much for having us tonight.
Yes, thank you for coming on. It was a complete honor. I was really giddy. To be honest, I was giddy to have you guys.
Giddy's a good word.
Thanks, y'all. And like I said, I'm going to be putting y'all in touch with some people so that way we can make sure that your project continues to grow and continues to move in the right direction.
Definitely.
We would be blessed and honored, and anytime you guys have anything you'd like to share with the podcast world, we would love to have you back again, even just for some of our roundtables, because we love your discussion, especially you, Taco. You love to give us your point of view, and that's what we need. We need somebody like that out here.
Yes.
So, and at least we would love to feature any of your articles on the page that you would like to get out there. So, any heads up?
Absolutely.
We're there.
Thank you so much, y'all.
You have an amazing night.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye.